Kingdom people, they are triggered by how you live your life. Kingdom people, see, you live your life in such a way where it makes people feel insecure about the way they live their life. For instance, you mind your business. They're triggered by that because it points out the fact that they're always in other people's business, being nosy, want to know what's going on in people's lives. And it also points out that they're a busybody. Now, do these people know that they're busybodies? Of course they do. But when you man your business, it just really makes them see it for what it is. I'm right now reminded of a comment someone made. I think it was, I can't remember what video exactly it was, but it was just not long ago, either the last video or the one before that. And I know I was speaking about how they know that they're evil because of you. Because you're not. And because you don't engage with them and you leave them pretty much to themselves, it makes them see really themselves for who they are. Now, here's the thing. I also mentioned how it brings it to their consciousness that they're evil. Now, here's the thing. Someone commented and said they know that they're evil and they just don't care. That is true. But here's the thing. Even though people are evil and they know and they don't care, they don't really consciously think about it at first until you come along, or someone like you. But in this case, it's you. And so I mentioned that just to say that in many ways, Kingdom people, these people know how they are, they know how they live, but they're not really aware or consciously, mindful of it until they see how you live. Reason being is because you live your life in such a way that it points out in their mind that they're not living the life, the good life, as they thought they were. And here's the thing, Kingdom people, you may not even consider yourself living a good life per se. But here's the thing, you are. Let me tell you why. You're walking with God. You're letting God work things out in you. You're as you go on, you are aligning more and more to who God created you to be. You're aligning more and more to his will for your life. Now, of course, at one point in time, Kingdom people, you may have been different. You may have lived different. But God, one thing that God does is that work he began in you, he will finish it. The good work that he has began in you, he is faithful to complete it. And so he's doing a work in you. And so as you go on, I'm hearing he will bring you from a higher height, from glory to glory. So you're growing. You're not conforming to this world. You are being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so as you go on, as time goes on, you continue to get better and better. And because of that, you appear to be living the good life. And again, you are. Now, the other thing that God said to me this morning is they're triggered because of your blessings and how blessed you are. And what occurred to me too is just like you may not think you live in a good life because you're a work in progress. And it's the same thing with, you may not feel like you're blessed, but some of you all are waiting for blessings, or you haven't really reached that pinnacle. It's a process, Kingdom people. It's a journey. It's a walk with God. And so while you're on this walk, while you're going towards the high mark of the calling of Christ, you look to them blessed. And you are. you look to them like you're living the good life. Now, you are very much so disciplined. You are very much so balanced. You may still be working on that. Now, again, you probably were not always as disciplined or balanced. Or maybe, you were in some aspect. But what happens is God even, he fine tunes that in you. Your discipline shows up a different way, because now, kingdom people, what's happening is because Christ is living in you and leading the way, and again, you are being transformed. Your discipline is more fine-tuned because your discipline is geared toward what God has called you to do. So as you're walking in his purpose for your life, he tweaks your discipline. He improves it. He makes you more balanced, because you have to be more like him, more like what he wants you to be, what he created you to be. And so people that are watching this, all they know is they don't have that kind of a balance. They're not quite as disciplined. It's like, oh, I gotta get up, gotta go do this, gotta do that. And even so much so, to kingdom people, you have a routine, you have a schedule. And so those who are watching, they can kind of see that you do things a certain way. And again, you're very disciplined in what you do. You know what God brought to me right before I started recording this message is, and I've had this experience several times, but I'm experiencing it now, where I cook. I like to cook, but regardless of that, I do cook because we have to eat. And I don't I don't really cook much processed food. I like cook. So, not saying everything is from scratch, but you get what I'm saying. So, kingdom people, I have experienced people around that are aware that I cook regularly. And they understand, even if they're not there to see it, that I'm like cooking real food. Like I cook and make meals. And as I said, it ain't no 1, 2, throw it in the microwave. It's obvious because I'm in the kitchen too long or back and forth or whatever. Messing with the oven. You know what I'm saying? And so, I said messing with the oven. And so, everybody don't cook like that. Like I said, I've had experienced this more times than I care to know that I have. And even that, to some people, that triggers them. Because you live your life in such a way, and I'm not shading processed food or anything like that. Do what you need to do. Even if you're a busy person, they have these different meals that you can order that are pretty healthy. That's a good option for a lot of people who are, have busy lives, and you want to eat healthy. And also, people do meal prep, There are people that have businesses that do that, or maybe you do that for yourself, but I'm not knocking how you eat. I'm making a point to say, for the most part, you all like to eat healthy. And you may not have always necessarily been that way, but again, God is doing a work in you. He's transforming you. So God wants you to be on point and healthy, not just spiritually, but physically as well, mentally, emotionally, financially. You see what I'm saying, kingdom people? So he's working all those things out in you, and them that are watching you and paying attention to you, they see how you live your life, and it triggers them because they know they're not living their life like that. Now, I have to point this out, kingdom people. I have to point this out. Remember, these are people who thought you were some kind of peon. They didn't, or it could be people, well, they may have thought this too, but people that you have known, maybe you grew up with, maybe even family, and they knew you one way. And so, if they're aware of your transformation, for some, it's triggering to them because, your life is balancing out. You live your life a certain way. Again, God is doing the work in you. And so when other people are not allowing that work to be done in them, or they're just not in a place where they're even on that, it can be triggering. And the reason why it's so triggering is because they're watching you and stalking you, and not necessarily in a good, healthy way. So if you're watching somebody with a evil eye, so to speak, with a jealous eye, like Saul was doing with David, it's, you're going to be triggered. Because again, God is doing the work in you. And some people are literally watching you transform. Again, those people that you've known for a long time, if they have any eye on you, they see the changes taking place. And now, don't get me wrong, some are inspired. And some are even making changes in their own lives that are watching you. Might have been on that anyway, but you help with that. You help motivate them. Now, again, these other ones that are watching from an unhealthy place, and I'm just hearing the ones that want watching to see your downfall, they're not going to see a downfall, because God is doing the work in you. Ain't no downfalls when God is, I just heard, elevating you. Those are opposites. And again, the fact that they wanting that and watching for that's coming from an unhealthy place. That's actually coming from a very diabolical, demonic place, kingdom people. I'm hearing an evil place, which is pretty much all the same. But they are triggered by the way you live your life. And again, even if you cleaned up, which you should, because God is doing it. He's cleaning you up. He's doing the work in you. That's why it always behooves me when people feel away, or feel like because they seen you in one place of your life, they just thought you would always be there, and feel away when you come out of that. In this life, we supposed to grow. We're supposed to become better. We're supposed to improve. And I always say when people think like that, it's because they wanted you to stay that way. And I'm just hearing, and many a times, not always, but many a times, those people be doing that dark arts, witchcraft stuff on you to keep you that way. But you come out, because they can't stop what God is doing in you. As long as you adhere to what God is telling you to do, there's nothing that no one can do to stop it. And so, kingdom people, listen, you live in your life in such a way, no matter what you think. Yes, you might feel like you need to get this together. You might need to improve this. Absolutely. I'm right here with you on that. People have this thing, certain ones that feel like I got it all together. And I'm not saying that I'm not working on things, or, don't have certain things on point. But let me tell you, I'm a work in progress. I had this mindset of I'm trying to get my life right. I personally feel like I always be trying to working to get my life right until God take me home with him. That's how I feel, from different aspects. Of course, at some point, when I'm older in age, certain things won't still be a thing. But there still be that inner work, that thing of just making sure that you keep your heart right with God. You know what I'm saying? That's always a work in progress. That's always something we have to pay attention to and be mindful of, because I'm just hearing your enemy, the devil, walks this earth like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So we always have to be on point. We always have to make sure that we keep the armor of God on, so that we may be able to withstand the fiery darts of the enemy. We have to. So I'm just saying all that to say, kingdom people, you looking good out here. You are blessed and highly favored, and people can see it. And again, it doesn't matter what you feel like you still have to work on. This is the key here. You're working on it. You're a work in progress. You're in process. You're proactively putting effort into being who God called you to be. You see what I'm saying, kingdom people? So listen to me. That's a blessing all by itself. Regardless of what you think what's in your bank account, you blessed. Trust me. And I'm only saying that to say, sometimes we got to go through the valley before God take us up. Because he's got to always have to do that work in us, as he's moving us forward. There's a work to be done because we have to be prepared and be able to handle what we're walking into. So God is not going to move us faster than what we can handle. He knows what he's doing, in other words. And so this in and of itself looks good to the outsiders looking in, watching, that are not not even trying to be in alignment with God. Let me say it that way. You look good. And again, it points out how they living and how they don't have that balance and how they just scattered brain, just scattered all over the place. No structure, no balance, you see what I'm saying? They see that with you. Even if you, and I'm just hearing, even if you're retired, you may be older in age or maybe not, but you're able to just, you're not out here working no 9 to 5 per se, but you're still doing whatever it is God has you doing, and you have balance in all of that. And I'm getting this vision of how you just like chilling, like gliding. And that's how they see you. And they realize that they not gliding. Okay? It's tough. It's rough for them. But they're tough. And not in a good way, like strong. But they rough. They rough with themselves. They're rough with their spirits. They're rough within their lives. You can't be out here living it up for Satan and not be rough. Serenity, tranquility, peace, calm, joy, those things come from God, not Satan. So if you're not walking with God, upright with God, in relationship with God, you're going to lack those things. And they do. And that is why they don't have that balance. They don't have that structure. They don't have that discipline. Now, they might go to work, but they not necessarily disciplined in that per se. They don't have that balance in their life. And balance is a continuous work. It really is, because things change and shift. As soon as you feel like you got this balance, here come a shift. Now you got to rebalance. And you do it well. And so, the people, they are triggered by the way you live your life. But I have to add this part. I almost couldn't get that sentence out. How you live your life for God. That's what I just got. They triggered by how you living for God. And they know they living for the devil. Anyway, saints. They are triggered by the way you live your life.